finishing up here with our prep with a normal Friday. We'll have same four guys limited as they were last couple days. And we'll just try to take it right up to game time as long as we can to see who's going to be active and who's not going to be active. So that'll be really the next 48 hours, if you will. Let it go as long as we can let it go. So with that, you guys open to questions.
What do you need to see from guys like Kayvon and Aziz in order for them to be ready?
Just need to see them be able to do the things that they need to do, without the pads on. The movement skills, the holding the edge, if we have to work them out before the game, we'll work them out before the game if that's something we need to do. So we're going to give them as long as they can to see if they are ready to go.
Is that decision your decision? What I mean by that, is it what you see, or is it what Ronnie Barnes sees?
It's collective. It's collective. I think that you got to put the players' health and safety first and foremost. So lean on Ronnie, but also have to see him do some things out in the field, whether that's a workout before the game or not. And if they're ready to go, they'll be ready. If not, the other guys will.
Have they opened it up yet? Have they, ran at full speed at some point? Yeah.
They're still, whatever we've asked them to do in the rehab process, they've been doing. I don't think there's any setbacks with that. So again, we'll give them a couple days here to figure that out.
Coach, if Andrew or Evan get injured, is Devry your guy off the sideline?
We have a few candidates with that. Devry's one of them. Yeah, Devry's one of them.
Have you decided who your left guard is?
We'll let it go here again today. I think both those guys, Bredesen and Zudu, have done a good job all week. So we'll practice today. We'll reconvene tomorrow morning with the coaching staff and watch practice today, and then decide which way to go with it.
How much does Josh's lack of experience factor in? Being a rookie, didn't get a lot of snaps in the preseason.
We don't talk about it like that, Dan. We just these guys have gone out here the last couple days, 3 days, and make sure they know what to do. Obviously, he didn't play a lot in the preseason, but a lot of guys didn't play a lot. I know he's a rookie, but he did a good job for us up until the point he kind of got dinged. But he's practiced well these last few days.
Where are you at overall with your offensive line? I mean, the 5 guys didn't get to play a lot together because of injuries and whatnot, and it's a pretty good defensive line you're facing.
Yeah, they usually are every week, and this week is a big challenge. But with John, playing center, and the 2 tackles have been out there, and Glow's been out there. So 4 of the guys have been out there a lot, and the other 2 guys have, again, to Dan's question, I know Zudu hasn't been out there a ton, but he knows what to do. Bredesen knows what to do. So that's why we work all the combinations we do in training camp.
With Belton, he's in the red jersey. Is that just a matter if he needs to get cleared for contact and then he's good to go?
No, we just if guys are. I don't want the guy to take an unnecessary shot from anybody, so it's more of a precaution than anything else.
So he's cleared for contact, they were saying?
Yeah, he's. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I'm just keeping him in a red jersey for precaution too.
What's your philosophy on if you rule guys out on a Friday? Will you still bring them on road trips when it comes to that? Wanting these guys to be with you on the team?
Yeah, probably. We're bringing everybody this week because we're gonna let it go as long as we can let it go too. But most likely, if guys were ruled out prior to the trip, unless it's more advantageous to stay here and get rehab, and that helps them a little bit more. But for the most part, we'll try to take them.
And then what about practice squad? Because if those guys can't play, obviously someone like Quincy, you probably have to go up.
Yeah.
So do you bring select practice squad guys, or how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I'd say select guys that we think that have a chance to be brought up. We'll bring with us on the trip.
Ryan, the way that you've had shorter practices this week, is that going to be your norm, or are you just doing that this week because you're keeping guys healthy?
Like, what do you like?
Like shorter than your allotted time. Like it'll say you're practicing 12:30 to 2:30, and then you guys will come off the field at 2:05.
Yeah, I got you. I think it just depends on how we're practicing in the team periods. I always allot for a little bit of more time in case we need to redo another play or have a repeat. But it's the schedule that we use is really consistent with where I was the last 4 years. That has been a good schedule for the players. I maybe give a little bit more time in those periods, just to, if we need a repeat, So if I put 8 minutes, maybe we get done in 6 minutes. But I still have time to, hey, let's repeat play number 2, or let's do this one again. I could cut it down a little bit in terms of the minutes, and maybe it hits, but I'd rather just err on the safe side for repeats, if you will.
Saquon has carried around a pretty big chip on his shoulder all off season. You like that in a guy?
I like the guy to be himself. I mean, I want them to feel comfortable with how they are on the field, how are they off the field. Again, what motivates one player is different than motivates another player. All I ask those guys to do is come in, work hard, be a good teammate, learn the system, and he's done all that.
I think you and Jovi's like lockstep for everything you guys have done, but you always have different roles. So when there's like a business decision, like say Darius, I won't make it like hypothetical, do you just let Joe handle that and you're divorced?
Make it a what?
I'm not going to make it hypothetical because it's a real art. Do you just like say that's Joe's lane, or do you have to talk to Darius? Because I mean, there's still feelings involved when
Yeah, absolutely. I think we try to communicate with all our players, whether it's football, business. We all have roles in the organization, but Joe and I talk, a lot, more than I probably talk to my wife during the day. So, we're in lockstep with, the decisions that we make, and we communicate on a lot of different things. And again, it is a people business too. So, if something like that happens in that situation, I certainly would talk to the player too.
Brian, I know it's not a carbon copy of what you did last year, but
Yep.
Was there anything that you saw last night that you could use as a teaching tool for your offense here? Now that you got to see what Buffalo did.
Yeah, I wouldn't say necessarily the offense, but always it's good to be able to watch those first games where you're actually playing for full 60 minutes. Everybody's playing, and to coach off of some of the things that I think, what were there, 7 turnovers last night? 4 and 4. So, I mean, that's usually the early part of the year. There's guys out there that haven't played a lot in the preseason that are getting tackled now, or the ball's stripped, and I think there's good learning tools to teach your team, regardless of whatever area it's at or who's playing.
You told a pretty funny story at your intro press conference about how your wife watched your first press conference in Cleveland and said you're not yourself in this. You remember this?
Yeah, no, I remember it. Yeah.
What does she think about you as a head coach? Like, does she feel like you're acting like yourself? Like, what's been her opinion of you being comfortable in your new role?
I haven't asked her that.
Well, she hasn't said.
No, I mean, she said take out the trash and make sure the kids are brushing their teeth, certain things like that. But I haven't.
She hasn't volunteered any feedback.
No, I mean, the first one she was on me pretty good.
Brian, Wink is obviously a very established defensive coordinator.
Sure.
But you worked with Belichick and Saban, who maybe are considered 2 of the defensive genius minds in football. Did he try to pick your brain about those 2 at all when you guys got together? Has he mentioned them at all?
No, we haven't had talks specifically about those guys. I have a lot of confidence in Wink. I think in a lot of ways we have the same type of competitiveness. He does a great job with his players. He's really personable. But just in terms of those 2 guys, no. I mean, he has his system. It's, I think we've added and tinkered based on the personnel we have here, but, I don't think he's ever worked with either one of those guys.
As a coordinator in your history, game weekend, obviously Saturday night, you go to bed, you wake up Sunday morning. Are you, or have you been a guy who closes the book and says, okay, let's get the kickoff, or do you keep the book open right up until that last minute of here's what we should do, scripting, that kind of thing, and how does that work
as a head coach?
Well, what you've done in the past
Yeah.
versus what you may do now.
Yeah, no, I have a book with all the game plans from all 3 areas, other analytics stuff that I meet with Ty and Kate on, every single day, 2-minute situations, 4-minute situations, officials, field conditions. I don't turn it off. No,
Even up right up until game.
Yeah, I have it. I have this book, and if there's something I need to kind of go back and refresh or grab somebody to talk on, I'd like to say the hay's in the barn here after a Friday practice for the players, but for myself, there's just so many situations that I try to go over in my head over and over again. So if it happens, then I'm as ready as I can be.
This is your first go-around, right?
Yeah.
You went through the spring, the summer, preseason, everything. What do you see that makes you think that your team is ready for the regular season now?
Well, I just say they've worked extremely hard. They've picked up, the offense, the defense, the kicking game is fairly similar. They come out here, they give 100% every day in practice. I think they learn from their mistakes. I don't think you ever really know, no matter where I've been, how opening day is going to go, whether it's been a team that's won a Super Bowl or a team that hasn't won many games. I think you do your best job to prepare the players, both mentally and physically, and do everything you can do to go out there and put your best foot forward, and then go play a good game and not focus on, well, what if this happened or this bad play happened. Just be very positive in your approach, be real, and go out there and trust your preparation.